Like how people in Palestine are getting shot for doing any journalism, and people out here are just getting blackballed for doing any type of positive anything if it goes against the dollar. It's like no. I'm just gonna point out what's wrong, and I'm gonna do what I'm doing and show how it's not wrong. It's an ongoing battle. That was, what are the problems in the world was the first question, and it's just, and it ended with this is an ongoing battle for us to be artistically, socially, and politically free.
I prefer it if nobody would talk like that. It would be super cool if everybody could work out their differences, like do dialogue.
There's a form of organics that has to happen, and then a form of like editing, scripting, or editing, chopping everything up, putting it together. iMovie is just the easiest for me at this point. I don't have Final Cut Pro on my computer anymore.
Final Cut?
Final Cut Pro. It's like it's an app.
Final Cut Pro. Is that I can't see anything. Final Cut Pro. That's just a editing app.
Yeah, it's like iMovie, like when you get on the iPhones or the iPad.
Yeah, but aren't there like Swiss? Aren't there like a bunch of different editing apps like for free? Eventually, you'll have to pay for something for sure, because like when you're really doing it.
There's some limits to iMovie. It's more to get the cuts that you want. iMovie is the easiest to access, but to get the actual visuals, like the colors, the blending or balancing with the lighting and stuff like that, like those types of video editing things you would do more on Final Cut Pro. So if you're just trying to get an hour and get it cut right, then you just gotta cut an hour right on iMovie. And really, it would be a lot easier if I could figure out how to quickly get everything uploaded or stuff onto videos from like my camera onto the PlayStation, and then use the same the share factory that I use on the PlayStation. No, I don't have the ladder.
I don't care. I don't know why. Maybe I could light it with my
your Qi.
Yeah.
Let me know when you get that one, cause I saw the video a few years ago. I'm like, man, ain't no way, but I don't know, maybe. Just let me know you can light my.
Man, that'd be the most useful.
Question. But yeah, we covered a lot of stuff though in that last video. That last video had we talked about the impending battle that's gonna have to end up occurring between us, actually between society and the higher ups.
Yeah, that's
and that was 2 years ago, before they were doing all the flotillas and all the questioning and whatnot of what's going on. It was just journalists reporting things and people going, I don't know how to feel yet. The full video.
I don't want to say intimate anymore.
Yeah, I mean, no, it's not a romantic word, but I hear you. It's a yeah. Well, that's the best way to it's close quarters. I mean, you give it some type of category, a brotherly, intimate, situation. It's very much, man to man. But that's how our conversations generally are. It was I thought that it was a lot more scattered at the moment than I do now. Looking at it all, I'm like, oh no, we covered a lot, and it was thorough. It's just I get scatterbrained, and then I'm like, I don't know what led me on this track. How do we get here? I don't know. So it's but seeing where we ended up and where we started, it's just what do you? It's a question of defining whether or not following a religion to say, hey, I do what you guys do, but to say, I've studied what you study, and here are the pieces where I agree. Here are things that I feel I need adjustment. Here are, whatever. But then all of these ongoings around the world are very much sectored in religious, culture, race, all of that stuff. So we ended up, doing an hour of question answer with all of that in line, and it shifted, but it went full circle. It covered everything, and it never really left the initial question of like, it was the opening question.
Well, one of the things you would have people do is you would have them examine their belief system or something like that.
Yeah, we couldn't get like the thing that sucked is when me and Rashawn were first talking, it was awesome like, I think it was like parts of it were like much like a little better than what we were talking about there, but because he was like
off camera.
Yeah, I forget. I think it was a different day that we were talking about it. I can't even remember, but it was so long ago. But yeah. But I mean, we got good parts of the talk. But yeah, there was like when when you're in the moment and you're just coming off your mind, like it's more like, what is it, like how you feel about it, like the words come like much more like
organically,
easier, harder,
not or more like, I guess, fresh, like I don't know, the feeling of it is more like impactful, like the words you use are like more impactful. They're different than what you say there. Like it's similar, but like you said, similar words, but
again, it's each time it's when you ask the question, like I see a few times in the video, I re-ask you the question because I'm trying to answer you word for word based on the moment we're at, but it's not like logged up here as like a verbatim, every single word is this thing I'm going to say every time somebody asks me a question like that. But the way my brain works, I don't know. So if the exact same thing that you said to trigger my, what I respond, how I responded to get the answer you were looking, or the answer you recalled the initial time. And again, it's just a lot of what if. It's not something that's required because that would make things feel a little more scripted. But it's just I might say the exact same thing based on it, but it's like the wording, and again, the wording evolves for a reason as well, because we're looking at the overview of things at this point. We have countries to name, and things could get censored because we named certain countries, but we have countries to name now. We have people to identify and problems that are there to where it's not just like, am I feeling weird that, like, as a positive black man who is doing several artistic things, like I feel like there is still something against me, or something, a wall that is preventing me from feeling confident in the next steps, even if there are next phases provided, and then you start to see, okay, here are things, obstructions within society that affect not just black men, but affect black men, affect, our artistic positive people, business positive people. You're trying to change the world, but it's going to cost people money. Can't have that. It's an ongoing analysis of those things taking place, because at the end of the day, like, I'm not the mayor, I'm not the governor, and they're probably not gonna make me that ever, you know what I mean? Or at least, until I'm old enough to be the president itself, and then I don't have enough backing to even do that, so I'm playing their game to get up there. But maybe I do make it to mayor or governor, and then I still gotta ask people for stuff, but it's like, no, I'm just gonna point out what's wrong, and I'm gonna do what I'm doing and show how it's not wrong. And it's like, I'm sure somewhere along the lines we'll say something where we'll see that when we chunk it up into little minute sections, that one got censored for some reason. That one got listed up. We look at it and go, okay, why did, it's like we just, minute by minute, for each episode, the first releases that we do for them is just 1 minute segments. We go, okay, minute 52 is here, but minute 53 ain't here. Minute 54 is here, and they all were here. We didn't put minute 54 down until minute 53 was uploaded. So there's no way for it to just have, not uploaded already. No, they took it down. Okay, so what did we say here? Study that minute. All right, so this, and this will get you censored. This, and this is also sensitive information to them. Some we can know, some that, the world watching us can know, but it's also, I don't feel like we should put too much extra fight on it other than just releasing the full, episode, moving to the next thing that we're going to talk about. It's an ongoing battle. That was, what are the problems in the world was the first question. And it's just, and it ended with, this is an ongoing battle for us to be artistically, socially, and vocally free. People in Palestine are getting shot for doing any journalism, and people out here are just getting blackballed for doing any type of positive anything if it goes against the dollar, or, the Israeli dollar at that.
It is
That video, 2023.
really strange and wild world we live in. But they just stopped there's the piece, the hostages release, and I don't know, it's real.
Yeah. So the
One crazy thing stopped.
I'm good. You're still abstaining?
Upstanding citizen. Look at that shrimp. That's sushi. Oh, that's right.
But yeah, so
Rice, greens,
with
avocado, black seeds. Yeah,
it looks hella good.
yeah.
Healthy combination.
So they did the ceasefire late after. So they said they were going to do the ceasefire at one point, and then they halted it for a minute, and then they said they signed something. They did some trade of what do you call them, hostages, and then the 20,000 Palestinian or 10,000 whatever, the tens of thousands of Palestinians hostages. And then the Hamas had like 20 hostages, and then there were like 4 or 6 that were dead, and so they buried them. They're saying that basically the ceasefire is off until they get the bodies, the remains of these dead hostages, and they done blown up everything from the cemetery to the hospital. So how you gonna find them? So now you're just saying, oh, okay, well this was the final straw. We can't have peace, but really all you're saying is that I'm throwing a tantrum because we did lose something in this. And so now they follow these weird rules. They're not the Torah, they're the Talmud. And so it's this list of rules that are guidelines for like concepts like if you're going to do sin, then don't do it in your land, do it in some other land. And stuff like you can kill and rape babies and violate a woman of some other religion, but not marry them. Things like that is a problem. It's just problem philosophy that instead of going, this is a book of all of the problems in the world, you're going, I'm going to follow this one. This one that says, these things are obviously wrong. I'm going to follow this one. And then they use like little biblical sections and they chop it up. So like King Solomon told David to go and basically kill 100 infidels, 100 enemies of the country, and circumcise them and take their 100 foreskins. And so this is like a bet you won't, you're not that type of warrior, spit on your name type of thing. And so David went out and took 200 foreskins, killed 200 people. 200 of your enemies are dead. And basically saying like, you can be the 201st type of concept. David ends up becoming the king. They don't focus on this part, so I'm just not going to go to what they're focusing on. They're then saying that castration is a form, or circumcision, genital violation is a form of war, acceptable war behavior, because of this one little section. And so then I'm like, well, what happened to David? It's like David died of old age as a king. And what happened to Solomon? Solomon died and killed himself. So it's like, oh, okay, there's so much more to the story, and they're just like literally watering it down. Yeah, and so it's the whole meaning of al-Baqarah. There are people who say that they believe, but they don't really believe concept. And so they've created their own little religious sector where they're saying that they're one religion, but they're not even that religion. And they're saying that they believe, but they don't believe what anybody good believes. But they call it all the same thing. So, in their world, the devil is God. The Antichrist is Christ. It's disgusting. But yeah, so, understanding all that stuff, that guy, like, the interview that we were doing, I was very confused with, like, what was going on in the world. I just knew there was a bunch of crazy stuff going on. I'm like, I don't see the drive for it. I don't see the it's like, stuff being corrupt has always been a thing, but I'm like, I don't understand the drive. And then it's like, oh, okay, some people are taught by some other people trying to control stuff, something real manipulative that, it doesn't make sense, but it's like teaching somebody opposite day as a way of life. And so it's like, oh, okay, well, that's more understandable to conflict with this rich guy's opposite day. It's like, okay, but it's still a matter of the archive data. It's like everybody has to save things. Everybody has to learn the things that are being saved, so that way, you understand, oh, okay, this person was targeted in whatever way, shape, or form, imprisonment or worse, because they knew this one thing. Okay, we have to make sure the whole world knows this one thing, because you can't target the whole world, or else the whole world knows it's being targeted. So then it just...
What was the specific question? What was the question that he asked?
And the first question was, what things do I...
I'll begin with the question, so what are some of the problems that you see in the world?
What's the problems you see in the world?
Put me on the spot. Some of the problems I see in the world. I'll say one is people on the street with no solid, like, shelter, and everything that like goes on like with human trafficking, all of that is just like it's one of those things that you don't like really like see out in the open all the time, but it's like what something that you know is going on, that you're always being not always being told about. Like it depends on who you hang around, I guess. But
The media can't even.
yeah, the media is not something that you're really gonna like see in the news a whole lot. That's one of those. Yeah, that's one of those things that like I wish like if I was to wish something to like be to like just instantly stop happening, or that's like one of the big things for sure. There's other things that I like I can't really think about right now. That I can't really talk about right now. Like yeah, for sure, human trafficking is like a big, huge problem that I wish didn't exist.
Yeah, that's facts. Absolutely. It's like they've made a game out of people. It's like the people have to do certain things, and if they don't willingly do certain things for a low price or for a low cost, then they will be forced to. And it is in a variety of ways. And then some people, it's explaining them. It's not justifying them. But it's like it's like some people. They're taking kids in order to fill some type of void. They didn't get a chance to have kids. They messed up a relationship or whatever, and so now they're trying to fill the void. It's like it's the wrong way to do that. Get a puppy or something. Like, go do something productive with the world. Go, it's like I say, teach students. Except, not really. Like they're not doing it for the benefit of people, the world, and that's the only way that folks are really going to find their joy.
Sit here until I get this idea right, or like close to what I was thinking or whatever. But at the same time, I would be like, yeah, I don't feel like completing or doing the rest of this. It's just going to be what it is right now. I don't know when I'm going to go back to it. I might not ever come back to it. Yeah.
That's how artists are. That's that, like with their art, with their work. Like there are things that the story that I'm releasing that's on Gumroad that I'm continuing to build video games for and animations for. There is some stuff that like I drew some stuff when I was 4 or 6 years old, but it wasn't like every single day I was like, oh, I gotta get better at this. Like it was more like I would see Omar make something, I would see Ebi make something, and I'm like, I want to do something like that. And and it's like, and I'm looking at it, and for maybe a month, maybe some years, depending on the piece, I'm like, I'll get back to it when I get back to it. But I know that when I do get back to it, if I do get back to it, that it has intentions, that it has a goal, it has a you know what I mean? And so it's like for you to pause until you can reframe your intentions if you want to, then that is, that's still art, it's still, but the instrumentals that you made are great instrumentals. Some things are...
They're not. But it's
not
okay.
every single
but it's
one.
Okay.
Not every single one is supposed to be a masterpiece. But I'm talking about like you have to. For me, you understand that a lot of the time between 16 and like 19 years old, I was just sitting down listening to like meditation music and beats, and like I was, it's like beats to rap, but it was also like I'm like no, I need to fill in this silence. I am here in these rooms alone, and I need to train, or I need to rehearse this script, or I need to do something that requires no vocal additives. I am likely going to give vocal additives. That is like how my mind works. Even when I make beats, I'm like, I have to hum something to this. I have to beatbox something to it, and I'm like, no, it's fine. It's just, it's not necessarily a hip hop beat. And, there's some beats that are more of the classical vibe that I'm like, this is a masterpiece. It's just not hip hop, or it's not mathematically Mozart or Beethoven. And so it's like, okay, maybe it's a little bit simpler, maybe it's a little bit more complex, but it's your work, and it's also hundreds of your work. You know what I mean? It's not like you sat down, made 2 or made 10, and then was like, I'm the best. You sat down, made 200 plus, and edited some of them to where you have multiple versions of them. I've went through most of them. They are not bad beats at all. They are very
just
good.
Incomplete.
I mean, and you can feel that as an artist, but you can, like, again, you can send version 1. There's, you send Super Saiyan 1 out, and then Super Saiyan 2 come out next year, 10 years from now. They come out with master mix. You say, fucking, I'm gonna drop Super Saiyan 2 through Super Saiyan 4 just because y'all need to know the evolution of this beat. That's gonna be its own little project. And whenever that's the case, that's another product. But you have the products right now. You have to package it. I have the package. I have to design it better. I have to, give the people what they want. You know what I mean? And so there's all of the stuff that I made that's what you need in order to understand the story, in order to read the saved data. Oh, I made this index using like a lot of like how my mind jumps around, but it's like the subjects that are being covered are in bold and they separate the sections. But it's like a 75-page index on Gumroad. That's $5. And so basically you'll have just like history of societies from 3,000 years ago to the Zulus, to the time and eras between Jesus and Prophet Muhammad, and you know what I mean. So it's key points, so that way whatever research you want to do, you can kickstart from there. That was just the history stuff, but there's like magnetic technology and whatnot, if I say too much. But magnetic technology and other sciences, differentiations between herbs and, like, not pictures, but it tells you the herb. It doesn't really describe its look, but it describes its texture, and it also like tells you like if you're eating this herb, then this is a good herb to pair it with in order to get this vitamin or that. But yeah, $5 index on Gumroad, so you can make any type of product. We tend to like to make beneficial things and things that have these purposes and these like these reasons. But it's like, I made this for a good reason. Is a good enough reason. And then you solve it. You solve it all the way. You solve it all the way as it goes on. I made this for a good purpose. I want to help somebody, and you're like, this will help somebody in this range.
To help somebody.
Yeah, and then you define, okay, how does it help somebody? Now, if you get to the end of your product and you're like, this hurts people, this doesn't help anybody, this just hurts people, then you gotta start from square one and actually make something that's beneficial. But I made this for a good reason is a good enough reason to start and continue until it's a bad thing. And then it's like, okay, well, maybe it's just one wire off. And once I fix this wire, it don't set things on fire, it's a fan. Okay, I got to make sure to label that and put that in the framing of the designs. You know what I mean, the blueprints. But it's not schematics. It's not it's not something where it's just like, oh, okay, I'm not doing hard work unless it's feeling strenuous and laborious every single day. There's just sometimes where it's gonna feel strenuous and laborious, and you should continue. And then when that makes it to its point, it's like the video game thing. That's 3 years of stuff after I stopped like trying. Like I downloaded the stuff when I went to Expression College. I downloaded the Unreal Engine. I made one little level and I didn't really understand it, and then I just stopped trying it for like 2-3 years. Now I picked it back up, and now I have like 10 different games that are scattered between 3 different hard drives, and 2 of them are broken. So it's like I know the stuff to get those features back. I can't necessarily get the exact worlds that I designed back unless I get the hard drives to work. But that doesn't mean that the things that I learned weren't in some way useful. If you are, you're just like, hey, well, I'm just gonna go to this spot for a couple months and be their sound man for a couple months and throw my beats on for a little bit sometimes. I mean, if that's the whatever they want, they just need some sound, something in the air to fill the room. Then it's like, okay, I have sounds on deck. Alright, people want specialized things, and you categorize your work. This is the fun songs, these are the sad songs. These songs really actually just make me feel mad. These are my hype songs. I don't actually like these songs. These songs go into the I don't like them section. So I'm not even bringing these with me to work. This is my bring my music to work files. I like them. It's, you test your music out, but you can even, like if you can recall any of the open mics that we did, it's there were like some songs, it made the entire masjid start dancing. There was a few songs, and you also played some during Eid, and it's like that's a skill, and you have to. I mean, you don't have to utilize it, but you can utilize it where it currently is at. It's not like you have to start from square one.
For sure.
Yeah. But the other stuff, what was it? It said human trafficking was a problem. It said the homelessness problem. Yeah, all the stuff they have it scripted into the world. Some people are actually they're working homeless. It's not to discredit the other, but they are getting paid.
Some people literally have
propaganda.
Some people don't have a home but still got a job, or whatever.
Right. And they got family that got a home,
business,
or
business or whatever.
Yeah.
So,
but they
I was
go
talking
out
specifically about somebody who has no shelter and no place to go and nothing and no income.
Yeah.
That's
people not having somewhere to go is crazy. Like that, and with all of this space, and we're bundled into this. It's just a drive to get to where I live. It's like the drive to after Oakland,
specifically somebody living on the street with less than adequate resources. So not just homelessness.
Yeah, we don't have the resources. I mean, we should. We have the financial ability to. We just don't have the resources to take care of everybody, and it's like then you start giving people abandoned homes, and then people are like, why am I paying rent? And it's a good question, but at the same time, it's like because that's how that is the system that is trying to start this battle. Is a system that wants you to keep paying rent. It's a system that is like, hey, well, people are in danger, and people feel unsafe, and people are getting kidnapped and human trafficked. So we have police that do the most because they've seen so much, but some of them are just told to do the most when they are in these particular environments. And it's like not necessarily this particular environment, because there's a lot of gentrification going on. But it's like the more that it becomes a world war type of issue, then all of the political grounds have been dropped, especially while Trump is in office, because it is all measured and mediated between Israel's concepts. So, if they're willing to press a button to strike someplace or another, mean, it's like who pulls the strings in totality. If I say, hey, we're gonna attack right here, and you're like, well, I wouldn't really want that, but since you're saying it, sure. And now that becomes the thing. People are being attacked, and what do people do next? It's likely that they either attack back or they isolate. And so, it's like, at the very least, folks need to know where we started, like where all of this stuff particularly started, and like how we can entertain ourselves, pass time while we develop, figure out things to develop, take, some measures to better ourselves.
Some of the problems you recognize.
What has been said? I don't recognize any in the world, but
or that you know of or heard about.
There's an ongoing battle of I don't know, I guess we as humans I guess the warring thing, the whole warring mind. Like we just don't get along. Like I was thinking about America, and people praise America for the positive things, land of free. Immigrants getting known for coming here, making something of themselves and getting up and wherever they're from, like they wouldn't have had the opportunity. That's kind of hard for me to grasp. Why would it be so much harder to prove that? But that's the positive of America. But I was thinking about all the negatives of America. When immigrants did come here, Americans are violent, just like anything different. They try to exterminate. Like you get bullied, you get talked about. People just hate you for some reason. I would, what was it? I think it was Andrew Carney, but I think it was some other Irish immigrant, Italian or Scottish. I heard their success story, the simple success story. They came here, they worked hard, they have failures, they got themselves up. But then when you listen to the detail, you hear a lot of people around were just ridiculing me in school. That was an American school. My teacher would tell me this, a failure would never get up. And then when I started a business, people wouldn't give me certain permits or something. But they know the next person got the permit.
Yeah,
super easy. But for some reason. It's just hard to get in a harmonious thing, world domination. Somebody always has to try to dominate. It's always that one guy who has to not do the same thing or just completely disagrees. And world domination, that's not even good. He doesn't agree on certain things that really bad. I guess the whole, I don't know. I'm not worried about this is a mess.
I understand what you're saying. It's dictatorship, people
hating somebody else for the differences or whatever.
Yeah, the concept that it's all under is the concept that they call fascism. And so when they're Antifa, it's just people who are against the current issues of the world, the dictatorship-based concepts of the world. It's a very straight line of understanding and misunderstanding. It's just choosing to misunderstand, really, but it's this very clear cut. I am rich, so I want to be better than you. I am powerful, so I want to be better than you. I have this amount of people that even if I call them stupid, they will work for me. So I want to be better than you, because any of your facts can technically discredit me. So I want my power to be able to discredit your facts. And it's a very disturbing world. It's a very disturbing world that we are in, as far as how the systems are structured. But the way that civilian minds are, people are not a beehive. There are a group of people that are gonna fall behind some stuff, just like how, we got us on some studies, so then we have these concepts that are instilled in us, and then these things that we naturally question because we're like, well, that doesn't really sound like that's from God. That sounds like that's somebody's belief that was instilled on us. And sometimes there's well, this was a very clear-cut understanding at this particular time, and there are other things to understand when you're in a separate time or a separate zone based on, it's like looking at what the story all entailed. These people of this place at this time, But the whole problem has been fighting these dictatorships and these manipulations into people doing bad shit. It's hella clear cut. They're doing bad shit, and they shouldn't be doing bad shit. Now there's some stuff where it's okay, you choose, the way that your life goes until you start harming other people in their lives, until you are inhibiting somebody else's life. You do your thing. You want to skydive with no parachute? That's your call. That is not a suggestion. That's your call. You take somebody else to go do that. You have influenced somebody to, hey, you should come and do this just like me, just with me. No, that's bad. That's so it's they're at this particular point, they're taking our money through taxes. They are utilizing our military weapons in order to attack innocent strangers, and a lot of the political figures are backing that because they get the money that they stole from us through taxes that they sent off to Israel as aid back in certain deals. And then it's also then they have insights on stocks and whatnot. So then there are certain businesses that are covered by these particular politicians that these particular politicians are covered by. They're in coots, right? And then on top of all of that, when something unconstitutional is placed into law, which is just unconstitutional, so it's not really a law, all of the enforcement of it becomes criminal, which means that the court is then criminal until it stands against the unconstitutional policies placed into effect. You know what I mean? It's one of those, we understand that, okay, the whole structure is messed up, and so we tear it down. No. We go do our own thing. We build our own within what we own within maybe this particular society that we're familiar with, and the society accepts that we have built this particular community to where then we can defend ourselves, protect ourselves. We understand and have social influence, not manipulation, but social influence with certain communities that are meant for self-defense of African Americans, of artistic people who are trying to make some type of benefit in the world, and then we live our lives as the skills that we live our lives as. But we communicate what we exist type of section, the first episode. But yeah, all of that in mind, it's like these things are happening, and some people believe in it, but it's not good. So we got to do something. And again, it also doesn't have to still be beats if that brings you, some sort of negative, sensation. It is more of a like I value your music that you've already made. So it's like you making more things is it's a fine thing. You observing the stuff in the world and then taking that and using that to make more beats or whatever. Everybody has their own perspective, and it's it's like my perspective is a lot of times going to reflect off of the things y'all talk about, the questions y'all have, the ideas that come up when we're hanging out or when we meet up and start talking about everything all together. So that's just it is a it's just life and art, but the crazy stuff has been going on. You can hear it in the lyrics of the old music, and see it in the old pictures, old imagery. It's like none of it is new. It's just they're being outright with it. They're being very clear about where they stand, and it's not totally pro white people. it's very much like they're so confused that it's there's no reason for us to make any like violent or physical retaliatory move. It's hard to even conceive of like asking for reparations from somebody who is this unruly. It is a matter of standing our ground as good people, and that might mean fighting back at some point or another.
I did not dress appropriately for this environment. It's pretty cold out here.
Yeah. Right.
Your jacket look warmer. My jacket is actually pretty warm.
Oh yeah, this is definitely not. This is a very thin jacket, as a matter of fact. Yeah, you see the pattern and stuff. It's like, oh, it must be soft. It must have some material on it. Nah,
The waffle.
it's a whole scan. No, not at all. It's just like, nah. You say somebody's car? Can we see your car?
Technically, I have to move some stuff around.
You want to sit in here?
Yeah. I'll put this in here. That's all.
Because it's windy as fucking cold. Oh man.
Yeah. So yeah, you got any solutions for us, Smayo?
I don't.
Maybe.
And that's
not even one.
No, I have no solutions. I'm not the guy to go to.
Unfortunately.
Solutions for
any problem in the world.
I gave you my best with that one. That was we build a community, figure out different ways for us to work together, make money. It's like with my Gumroad stuff, like my offers is always up. I don't hella publicize it because at the end of it, it's a lot of money, and then people want a lot of money, but then they didn't do all the work. So the rule, it's very simple. The deal is very simple. If you sell work from my Gumroad, if somebody who met you, talked to you in some type of way, then goes to my Gumroad and buys my stuff because they met you and talked to you, then you can claim 20% of that purchase. But of that purchase, not of every purchase that I ever get. You know what I mean? But other than that, it's a basic business deal. And if people
around the world, or around each urban community, focused, if we focus together and just have these different ideas, these different services, and these different ways for us to give back to each other, help each other at the same time, um, we are like, we can build our own stuff. We build our own community gardens. We make sure our streets have trees with fruits on them. We make sure that everybody that is a part of that community is housed, but then we also make sure that we also have like shelter for, plausible homeless. We have a system to understand, like, hey, this is hazardous to our society. This can't go on. And we don't need police, because we also understand that the people in that community have a particular, it's not like belief system, but you have a set of principles that coincide, that allow you to work together and live together without criminal actions happening to each other on their watch. Yeah, this world got problems. I don't even think about the world problems, really. I'm struggling to fix my own problems, which are terrible, like really bad.
Yeah, I've been thinking about that too. My own problems. Or maybe just my one problem that keeps me from being the best version of myself. Yup.
I'd say my problem, like, I smoke a lot of weed, but outside of that,
I don't think weed is your problem.
it's a lot of people, it's a lot of situations that cause me to. Is the thing. It is like the zoo. Before I even started, just being overt about, like, look, man, I'm sick of this. I was trying to be very professional. There was this Samoan dude was always saying nigga.
So you
He was always saying nigga, and he was always talking about this gun that he kept in the car. And then one day he decided to tell me that they were talking about how they didn't trust me, the executives, right? So I'm like, okay. So then he stops working there, and then this guy with like this brain damage, or a white guy with like some brain damage. He went to Hawaii because of whatever misunderstanding that they had at the zoo. At that zoo that I was working at, and he got beat up by the Hawaiians over there, and so.
You said this Samoan guy got beat up?
This new white guy. So when the Samoan guy left, this white guy replaced him, but he had some sort of brain damage or whatever from being beat up by the Hawaiians. So then so at some point he had some issue with me, or he just decided to go on some dementia against me type of thing. We'd already chatted it up and was cool, talked about the whole little how he smokes and I, because I was smoking on site when they was gone or whatever. But it was, I'm over. It's overnight. I'm just supposed to be here overnight and guard the zoo. Nobody else should be here. It doesn't affect the public. But with that in mind, he's like, he decides to approach me about it on this random day while we're locking up, and the vice president and the supervisor are still there, like, and so they're a bit away, but he's like,
I'm like, he's like I don't want you to smoke around me, or I don't want us to be smoking, or you to be smoking while I'm around. I'm like, I tell you where I'm patrolling. Like you don't have to patrol over there. Then that's fine. Then he's like, bitch. I'm like, what the who the fuck are you talking to?
Bitch, why?
I'm hella loud of this the whole Oakland Zoo Hills. Who the fuck do you think you're talking to? So then the vice president and the supervisor come out, or they're like, what's going on, whatever. Is by that time he's like apologizing, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, I should have just snitched, but I was like, it was some miscommunication that happened over here. That's all. Like, so they left it alone, and then the vice president's, I don't know, some bullshit. His grandma's no, his godmom's neighbor was then invited to work at the zoo or whatever because his godmom, the vice president's godmom, suggested it to him. So he said okay, and that dude was watching like hentai and stuff on his phone in the office. In the office, and then he was just always asking me weird stuff, and saying like, he said something where it was like, it's just, like they would something about like how people would misidentify me in the nighttime or something like that, and not be some bullshit. So it's like they would just see a general guy if they were if they saw me in the night type of thing. And I'm like, yeah, or the Unabomber. And he shut the fuck up there, and then some point he was the supervisor was saying some shit about the there was a spider. He was like, watch out for the spider. You might kill, it might kill you. You can smash it. And then, well, I was like, you just kill it. And then he was like, he said, I killed the supervisor before I killed the spider. Basically, was the point. So I'm like, it's a very like it was a bunch of weirdos, and at the end of it, they basically were calling me out about stuff like using my own car to drive up and down the hill, and they left only a red pen on 2 occasions, so I filled out my reports in red. And then
they didn't like that.
Yeah, but they kept bringing it up in other meetings where it was like, you don't really have a complaint on me, y'all just don't like me, like, so y'all don't want me here, you want all white boys here or something. I don't know, but whatever the case, yeah, it was that, East Side, that was just nuts,
I was supposed to buy some, like when we was at that thing. I ended up buying 2 books from the library. From the bookstore, instead of like buying like some art or one of your books, or and yeah, I want to buy some for you and from Evie.
Yeah, it's, all of my stuff is online right now. Is the other thing. Like I was talking to EB last time and saying like I'm gonna. We were talking about me vending, like basically like a preview station. So all the stuff that I brought on the day of the arcade, the comics, novels, the cards, all of that stuff will just be able to be previewed while people can, scan the QR code, and they can visit all of the sites. They can buy the stuff if they want to. Yeah. I don't know how exactly I got there.
You mind
The hell?
Never heard of that doing.
you might allow me to roll down this back window?
Am I too far back? You need
Uh,
some microphone?
A little bit. That's good. Appreciate you. Thank you, sir. Is that too breezy?
Oh, yes. Yeah, all my stuff is digital. Otherwise, it's no rush on that, and it's all for us to be able to like utilize. If I could just get a space where there's enough room to where, you know, it's like I have a field. If I just had the dream is to just be able to get a football field worth of space.
Football field, 100 yards. And
100 yard,
and whatever the
50
other dimension
across,
is.
so it's 100 by 50.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so like more like 100 by 100, but you know what I mean. So it's just like there's like people have spaces. Yo, I'm staying over the week. All right, you 20-yard line is you got it. We kick it, we kick it, but then you know it's like you there's a building for you. You know what I mean? It's like I want a garden. I want a gym. I want an office with a studio, like a studio office library type of thing. That's where I do all my everything from when I stream video games to when I'm making music and making art and stuff like that. You know, every resource and reference that I've written down, I have.
This is cool, by the way. I never answered you.
You said, is it too breezy? Like, I'm okay.
Okay, cool.
Like, every reference in my space is the goal. And then from there, you know, you just live. You interact with the world. You know, you want to get a job, a particular type of job, to see what that particular type of job is, then yeah, you know, it's like whatever is an internal need is one thing, but you know, like the world needing you to do a thing is weird to me. It's like, you know, like I should just be, and then I run into the need. You know, it shouldn't be like scripted. Oh, I have to do deliveries. Like, deliveries was actually fun until it wasn't like a side job, but it was the only job, and you know, it was like, you know, but it's like now at this point, if I had something consistent, I would go Uber Eats as well, you know, but it's just it doesn't do enough for me financially.
Yeah, and those companies they start cutting people's, like, how much you get when you do it. Well, at least for the driving apps, I know they do that. I heard from Lyft drivers that they just cut how much they get paid. I thought it was dope because, you know, I'm in the back seat, I'm paying for it, so I'm like, oh yeah, $7 to get to where I normally go to. Yeah, nice, but I'm like, yeah, you know, started cutting it. I didn't think about, like, oh yeah, like the person who works for Lyft is just getting their how much money they get cut. So, but yeah, so how I'm curious, if you had to, like, which one of the, like, your things are, like, you most interested in doing, like, out of all the stuff? You have the rapping, you have the comics, and then you have the cards.
It's really the game development, like the game development, because I can put all of those pieces in there, but like especially the animations, like I can put secret animations in the games, you know what I mean, to where people are getting that same feeling that they get from, like, Dragon Ball Z, Naruto, whatever. Whenever a new game comes out, it's like Dragon Ball Z carries the Japanese economy. Their economy would go crazy if it just started to flop out of nowhere. So it's it's one of those things that, like, these artistic paths have a bigger effect, but it's also, I can save it at least for RJ, for my son, to be able to do some shit with it. You know what I mean? It's like you're not 22 trying to figure out what it means to code. You know, like, it's like, for me, I was so confused. Like, coding, what does that mean? What is that? Oh, okay, I'm writing a specific type of document in a specific type of system that allows me to control a specific section of the computer if I know the proper code words. Okay. And the proper code words and the proper math. Okay. So, you know, those things, it was always a bunch of things, and I'm like, that should be simple, but I don't know why, like, you know, somebody's explaining it to me and I'm not getting it. This is not, you know, something like, I just like the stuff to be defined. I'm fine with just, you know, sitting down and adding a little piece to the things I've made at this point. You know, it's like, I get ideas to make new things, but, you know, it's, if that was all that was left, you know, it would just be me adding a few things, eating some stuff, and, you know, just going about the day, enjoying the day, you know, going to, like, you know, it's like, even us going out to, like, the arcades and stuff, and just recording content, the trampoline parks, and, you know, recording flips, cutting those up, hitting trying to get the records on the little punching machines at the arcades. You know, I want, like, a space for that, where people can just chill and be and enjoy all the arcade stuff. You know, a couple different types of punching and kicking machines, so that way you're actually training at some point. Yeah, it's never anything in particular. Like, some things just come out as a song, and some things are like, you know, well, no, that's for the book. I just kind of send messages to myself, things that come to mind, like, you know, a good scene, and I'm like, well, no, the way that I wrote these words, this is actually, you know, this is lyrics and the scene for a music video. You know, it's just letting my mind free flow, because, you know, in my mind, as a human, we're all just kind of here. And, you know, and then, you know, there's enough concepts and ideas to carry us to after here, but, you know, it's like, it's about organizing that movement. So,
Movement.
you know, when we pass we shift into whatever zone from here, we are carrying these mental things, these emotional things, these, you know, intimate engagements that allow us to say, hey, I want a situation like this to happen no matter what reality I'm in. That's, you know, how I feel. But yeah, it's it's just one of those things where I just want to be able to experience the things that I like any given day, and others to also have that zone, because then when you sit down after you did the stuff you like, you can then get creative or get to work.
Where do you think creativity comes from?
Like, just in general, or for humans, or for me?
For humans? In general? For humans?
Like, in general, like, you know, animals get creative, you know, like,
In general, for humans?
yeah. I mean, I feel like for humans, we observe nature and we see the creativity that it takes. Is the other end of that as well. So it's, you know, in general, for humans, I feel like we observe the natural world and we're like, that's pretty cool. And we start to try to add on that or try to remake it where we can, like, trying to whatever, you dig a trench and it leads from the ocean to a hole that you dug in the beach, whatever the case may be. You're like, this is my ocean, but it's just you dug a trench. Though these ways that we can be more creative are also ways that we can help ourselves and others more. If you have a lot of sick and ill, then you need a hospital or infirmary. You've seen the process of birds gathering seeds and dropping the seeds in particular places so that way they ensure themselves food. You grow, and then you start to do that yourself. Lightning strikes a tree and it sets the tree on fire, and so then you're like, hey, I'm gonna just take the branches that are already there and I'm gonna figure out how to get that fire thing going. Maybe not the lightning, but it's like that turns into, you grabbed a certain tree, or you grab two different types of branches and realize they leave two different color marks on a rock. Now you're like, oh, okay, well, I'm gonna paint some shit. Maybe it's for a reason. You drew a bear because where you were there, bears are around. But at the end of it, people get creative for the sake of nature and survival.
Okay. Things have been sucking for me for a while. I was just talking to Issy about it. Like, things suck for me for a while. I was listening to, after watching a bunch of self-improvement, self-development people. I started, and then questioning myself. Started realizing you got a pretty bad ego, man. And they would always reference someone would come to them with a problem, and then they would question them is the system not working, or is it just you? And right now in that moment of just questioning myself, man, you gotta fix some stuff about you. You obviously don't have the answer to whatever it is, because your life's not going good right now. So things have been sucking. I was telling Ismail, I was just I started getting into binge watching Instagram about some of the worst stuff you see in the world, stuff that goes on in the Tenderloin, really bad car accidents, people road rage, just stupid stuff on the internet to grab your attention. It's not even it's not important. It's not. It's important in the grand scheme that some of the stuff is just really bad, killings and robberies and things like that. But it's not really important for me right now. I'm not trying to fix it, so it's not, or help with it, so it's not important. But I gotta, it's not helping me get to any of my goals.
And I understand that. Yeah, have you ever seen a murder on Facebook or Instagram?
Yes.
Have you ever binge watched that?
Yeah, I watched videos of people getting shot and whatnot. I just started because, yeah, I have a friend who does that, and like, yeah, I just got into it.
He shot people?
No, not that. No.
He does
Yeah,
that.
well, I had friends who would do stuff like that, but I mean, I'm not friends with them.
Yeah, they've done that since.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
yeah, he watches video like stupid stuff online. He's interested in stuff like that.
All I was trying to say was more like it's a like there's a purging that does have to happen in order to, to kind of like we know these things are happening, and even if nobody was talking about it, we would feel that something is wrong, like something on that level was wrong, or like there's like something's off in the world. And so it's like at this particular point, while like some of the recordings are reckless, some of them like I'm like, oh, this is from a perspective of the people doing the shooting, like they wanted this to be seen. I'm not watching this, but it's like it's also knowing that the stuff is going on prepares you for if somebody is reaching real tough, and it's like wait it's like I let me search you, let me analyze what's in your pocket, as what's the attire, how are you approaching me, are you focused on me? I'm gonna try to get out of here. If you pressing me, then I'm gonna try to stop you from even aiming whatever's coming with your hand at me. So we just gonna get it cracking right there. I mean, if that's the society that we're currently in. Like right now, again, the area that we're in, it's not always like that, but that's always been a possibility. Folks don't really like to, especially out here, they don't really like to fight on the street like that. Like it's a lot of them. I mean, it's a lot of folks that say that they are willing to fight on the street, but that also means, to me, that means you can't say you gon' get your gun. You can't say I'm gonna be back with old boy and so and whatever, because in my mind we didn't just fight then, we just started the war. You know what I mean? It's like we can't just scrap and then it's like, all right, man, all right, nigga, leave me alone. I'm done. It's squash it, whatever the case may be. Or somebody get knocked down, knocked out, whatever, and then we leave it alone from there. But it's so much after that. There's so many times that I've been threatened, like after the fight or before the fight even gets started. It's like, I should kill you. If I had my, it's like, because now I don't. It's not. It's like, have you seen Baki?
Yeah, I watched some clips.
Oh, you gotta watch the whole.
I can't. I just like my life sucks so. It's just so off of what I would like it to be. I can't sit down and really watch anything like an episode of like a show or anything like that, unless it just really like has a value for me. So like. I watched Dragon Ball.
All of everybody's life is not exactly at that point that we imagine that it'd be at.
Yeah, I rather spend that time not watching Baki though, man. I mean, not just not watching Baki, but I rather spend the time fueling what I would like better, like fueling. Getting myself closer to my goals. So.
Where does the fighting spirit like measure or apply in that at all, if at all?
The fighting spirit.
Just your concept of the will to fight. Does it apply at all?
No, like I'm sure it's a component in there that I haven't discovered, which I'm like unraveling, like trying to, like I'm unraveling around in my life. what's going on, like what am I thinking that's getting me the results or that I have, and what will give me the results that I want. So I may get to that, but like, yeah, fighting spirit, it's not really there. I'm more thinking about how to be like I don't even know, like, yeah, the first thing about the fighting spirit, like where is it good, when does it turn bad, like
Part of it is just measuring it out. I mean, hey, okay, well, maybe that was a little too much. Let me, pull back a little bit. This ain't enough, or this is we have institutions that don't respect us, right? And while I wouldn't want to be disrespectful to neither the secretary of the institution, who's just trying to get her dollars like everybody else, or the executive who I'm trying to get something from, I'm be direct. I'm be like the executives. They don't like me because that's how I am. It's direct. What about, well, I'm here and, well, this job said that it paid this amount. I can do X, Y, and Z duty. I am able to, provide X, Y, and Z service. I sell X, Y, and Z product. And so, with that in mind, here is the negotiated request. Here's the thing that I'm needing. Here's the thing that I'm looking for. Based on the services that you provide for prior clients, employees, X, Y, Z, I know that this is able to occur. How do I get this to occur? But it's also that, yeah, everybody is a lot more guarded with their pockets and their policies because they want to be able to control people. So it's like it's harder to get into places, and it's even harder to stay in places because in their mind they can break contracts at the ready without any consequence. The courts are broken. It's not a you thing. It's just there are things that we all can do to get better, and there's also like a world of systemic fractures to where it's just like sit down sometimes and watch some TV and eat your favorite food and think about what the next step is, not every single thing that you need to do to get to the next level.
Yeah, but I haven't even started. So like yeah, I think what I should do is sit down and start defining things for myself first, and because yeah, Baki's just like extra for me right now. Like I have Dragon Ball Z. If I want to really, I watch enough episodes, I can just like kind of remember and then go back and like look at an episode or part of an episode that I remember was like impactful.
Mm-hmm.
In Naruto. But so like I just need to sit down and like define things for myself and make clear goals or as clear as I can get, because clear, like I know it won't be that clear, but yeah. Just put something down on paper, go after it, define a few things for myself, like the kind of life that I want, a few terms, and then go after it. And then after I start, I don't think I'll ever watch Baki. Baki looks weird, kind of weird to me too.
Yeah, it's a bit. It's intense. It is intense. I don't know. Through my family experience, it has been a lot of battles that I've had to face where it was about facing the battles head on, or learning how to become more strategic and tactical and accept certain stylistics of victory. Learning, there are people I can't change, and you can't really change people. People change themselves based on their influences, and so you impact people, you influence people. they didn't have a suggestion box at the Oakland Zoo until I started working there, because I told them that they should have a suggestion box. It's just making some form of, movement towards, again, benefiting things. Like, what are some things that you like? What are some things that you like?
Really, good looking women, like nice nature, trees, like luxury stuff, like really nice places, like
No, but it does make
nice cars, Formula One cars, anime, working out, like gym stuff, philosophy, yeah. There's a few things I can name, but yeah, those are some things.
I mean, yeah, there's a way to
Art, for sure. Painting, and when someone can paint well, like the classic artists, not the modern stuff. Sometimes it's nice for me, but other stuff I'm just like, man, like how the hell is that worth so much money, like millions of dollars for just certain stuff? I don't know. Maybe it's the thought that goes in behind it or something. But
like I understand. Like, there are things for me. I guess the luxury concept is more for like utility. Like, it's like I've always like spy gear. I like 3D glasses and AR, whatever the fuck they are at this point. Little super future glasses where you can touch stuff on the internet from your glasses. Yeah, I've never really, like, I can't tell the difference between a Lamborghini and a Bugatti. I can't tell you, anything beyond what's able to be read on the car. The buildings. I'm sure that each skyscraper has some sort of purpose for why it's there. I just know their shape. You know what I mean? Like, if you said the such and such building, you'd have to tell me the shape where it's by. You know what I mean? I'm generally out of the loop as far as that type of stuff goes. Like, it's very much I'm like off the grid in the zone type of things, where I don't know how to highly value those things. It's like a $1 million yacht kind of makes sense to me, but only because I would want a lot of people on my boat. So if I had $20 million and I already have a land and a house and 4 cars, you know what I mean? It's like $1 million. That's an easy 100 cars if you really wanted to do that. Yeah, it's the point being that there are things of luxury that, basically they stand out to me. Like, I'm like, that looks good, but I wouldn't really want to, like, I wouldn't want to take care of it. You know what I mean? Like, it's like I wouldn't want to be sitting down all day long guarding my Lamborghini. You know what I mean? It's like and feeling that way in Oakland, I'm sure it would feel a little different if I'm in Hawaii or Japan. But the moment that somebody bips my Lamborghini in Hawaii or Japan, I'm gonna start feeling the exact same way. So where it's like a lot of this stuff is it's not like I'd never want a very valuable car or a super, large land, but I'd love to, be able to do something that allowed us to build our wealth together, and then, it's like we find some place where we have our mansions and extra, curriculars of, all natures. Like, it is a very much, like, it's a clear-cut goal, of course. That
Pretty sure it's still going. Pretty sure the motherfuckers in there probably go fucking crazy.
Uncharted, I think I finished one. That might have been one I borrowed from the library at Expression.
Uncharted.
Pause. No, not no Diddy, but no.
Uncharted?
Put pause on the boy. He was trying to play me. I'm telling you, I understand it now. I don't know. I think he might have switched out, and so I don't think my kid Boo is gone yet in this one. You saw what?
What's the DP on base Dynamo Vegeta and Goku?
4.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah.
That's fair. But his Super Saiyan 3 is like 5, 6.
Yeah, he might even be a 7 because he has a 1, 2, and 3, and Ultra.
Gosh.
Well, 1, 2, and Ultra. I don't know what it's called exactly in this game. Ultra.
Are there a lot of Super Saiyan 4 players? Diamond Super Saiyan 4 players?
Oh, they don't have a Diamond Super Saiyan 4 yet.
Oh.
It's on the mods. Yeah,
You said it's unannounced?
It's on the mods.
Oh, got you.
Yeah, this is Kid Boo back in.
That one feels like a no-brainer. Yeah, have mercy.
No, it's Snoop Dogg in that one good time. I need to get better at that. Like when they're dashing at you, most folks, by the time they're halfway there's nothing you can do. And maybe most characters, it may just be my reflexes, but it's like, it's hard to see that they're dashing at you because you can just quick dash, boom, boom.